Dario Fo's accidental death of an anarchist, Morte accidentale di un anarchico, is one of the most celebrated political farces of the 20th century. Written in 1970 and first performed the same year, it dramatizes and satirizes a real-life incident, the suspicious death of Giuseppe Pinelli, an Italian anarchist who fell from a fourth-floor window while in police custody during an investigation into a bombing in Milan. Fo, a master of political comedy, uses slapstick, absurdist humor, and Brechtian alienation techniques to expose state corruption, police brutality, and the manipulation of truth. Although rooted in specific Italian political contexts, the play's critique of institutional abuse and systemic hypocrisy remains universally relevant. The play is marked by improvisation, metatheater, and breaking of the fourth wall, empowering both actors and audience to engage critically with power structures. The play is set in a police headquarters in Milan and unfolds entirely in an interrogation room and an office on the fourth floor, the place where the anarchist accidentally fell. Act 1. Introducing the maniac. The play begins with Inspector Bertozzo interrogating a man identified only as the maniac, a shape-shifting, fast-talking figure who has been arrested multiple times for impersonation. The maniac reveals that he's been diagnosed as legally insane, which ironically gives him immunity from prosecution. He thrives on role-play and deception, adopting personas with ease and disarming his captors with verbal acrobatics and satire. When Bertozzo steps out, the maniac finds a report on the mysterious death of the anarchist and learns that the police are preparing for another inquiry. Sensing an opportunity for mischief and truth-telling, the maniac disguises himself as a judge who has arrived to reinvestigate the incident. Act 2. Exposing the truth through farce. The maniac, now posing as Judge Malapenso, infiltrates the offices of Inspector Pisani, the superintendent, and Officer Sportsjacket, who were involved in the interrogation that led to the anarchist's death. They are initially flustered but quickly try to justify their actions, claiming that the anarchist leapt from the window of his own accord. The maniac probes their account, cleverly manipulating them into exposing contradictions, fabrications, and absurd explanations. He rewinds and replays the scenario repeatedly, each time highlighting inconsistencies. Was the anarchist standing on the window ledge? Was he suicidal? Did the officers provoke or physically threaten him? Why was he left alone? With each version, the maniac's questions become more damning, and the office's lies more preposterous. Throughout these scenes, the maniac switches registers: comic, tragic, philosophical, exposing the performative nature of institutional power. His impersonation becomes a tool for revealing the deeper absurdities and moral bankruptcies of those in power. Act 3. The journalist and the final twist. In the final act, Maria Felletti, a journalist, arrives to interview the police about the case. The maniac, still posing as the judge, orchestrates a mock trial, confronting the police with their conflicting testimonies and making them role-play their own parts. He reveals that they admitted, under theatrical pressure, to covering up the anarchist's death. When the officers realize they've been duped, chaos ensues. The maniac unmasks himself, triggering panic. He presents two possible endings. Ending A, conventional ending. Maria Felletti calls the authorities, the maniac escapes, and the police face justice. Ending B, Fo's preferred ending, Felletti does not call the police. The corrupt officers kill her to protect themselves and destroy the evidence. The maniac leaves the audience with the choice, suggesting that the truth is ambiguous, shaped by complicity, action, or inaction. Analysis. 1. Genre and style. Political farce and absurdism. Dario Fo uses farce not as mere entertainment but as a revolutionary weapon. Farce allows exaggeration, rapid dialogue, slapstick, and identity confusion, all tools that disarm the audience while conveying serious political critique. Fo blends commedia dell'arte traditions, with stock characters, improvisation, and physical comedy, with absurdist and Brechtian theater to create a play that educates, agitates, and entertains. The Maniac, for instance, resembles the Harlequin of Commedia dell'arte, witty, agile, and unpredictable. But he is also a Brechtian alienator who forces the audience to see through the facade of realism, prompting political awareness rather than passive empathy. The rapid-fire pace, constant role changes, and breaking of the fourth wall destabilize traditional theater and mirror the instability of truth in institutional discourse. 2. Truth and fabrication. The central theme of the play is the manipulation of truth. Faux interrogates the mechanisms by which the state constructs narratives to protect itself. The Maniac's reenactments serve as theatrical cross-examinations, unmasking the way language, legal procedure, and facts can be twisted for power. The repeated reconstructions of the anarchist's death expose how truth is never neutral, it is politically constructed. In doing so, Faux anticipates postmodern concerns with truth, representation, and the erosion of objectivity. The Maniac becomes a symbol of radical doubt, reminding the audience that nothing presented by authority can be taken at face value. 3. The role of the Maniac, trickster and truth-teller. The Maniac is at once madman, jester, actor, and sage. His madness grants him the freedom to interrogate the powerful without consequence. In a society where rational discourse has failed, it is the insane who can reveal hidden truths. He is a modern-day fool, like those in Shakespeare, e.g., King Lear's fool, who through humor and riddles uncovers wisdom. His ability to switch personas highlights the performative nature of identity, particularly within bureaucratic and legal systems. Importantly, the Maniac does not deliver the truth didactically. Instead, he manipulates the system's logic against itself. His subversion shows that in corrupt systems, truth must often wear a mask to survive. 4. Police and power. Satire of institutions. Faux mercilessly satirizes the police force, portraying them as bumbling, self-serving, violent, and absurd. The characters of Pisani and the superintendent are not evil masterminds but grotesque parodies, corrupt men trying to hide behind procedure and title. Through these caricatures, Faux critiques not only individual failings but systemic dysfunction. The police do not exist to protect justice, the play suggests, but to preserve the status quo and suppress dissent. The repetition of lies, the cover-up, and the fear of exposure all mirror the actual misconduct during the Pinelli case, and by extension, the widespread police brutality and suppression under Italy's right-wing governments during the 1960s and 70s. 5. Meta-theater and the audience's role. Accidental Death of an Anarchist is deeply meta-theatrical. The audience is constantly reminded that they are watching a play. Props are exaggerated, sets are minimal, and the characters speak directly to the audience. At one point, the Maniac asks the audience what version of events they believe, implicating them in the construction of the truth. This use of Brechtian alienation serves to break the illusion of theater, preventing passive consumption. Instead, Faux's theater demands critical engagement, urging the audience to recognize parallels with real-world injustice and question their own complicity. The multiple endings serve this same function. There is no cathartic resolution. Instead, the audience must choose which version they prefer, and by doing so, confront their own values. Do they believe that justice will prevail, or do they accept the darker reality that power often wins? Historical and political context. The play was written during the Years of Lead, Anni di Piombo, in Italy, a time of political turmoil, terrorism, and government corruption. The Piazza Fontana bombing in 1969 killed 17 people and injured 88. Initially blamed on anarchists, including Giuseppe Pinelli, the investigation later revealed links to right-wing extremists and state complicity. Pinelli's suspicious death became a national scandal. Foe's play, though fictional, reflects this atmosphere of mistrust and disillusionment. It exposes the strategy of tension, the alleged government tactic of using fear to justify repression. By using satire rather than direct accusation, Foe could comment on real events without naming names. Nevertheless, the Italian state responded with censorship, surveillance, and legal threats. Foe himself was arrested and banned multiple times. Themes: A. Justice versus legality. The play draws a sharp line between justice, moral rightness, and legality, institutional procedure. The maniac uses legal jargon to corner the police, but also mocks the law's tendency to protect the guilty. Foe suggests that the legal system is a performance, often used to obscure the truth rather than reveal it. B. Madness as liberation. Madness in the play is liberating, not confining. The maniac's insanity makes him untouchable. He uses it as a tool to confront the powerful and say the unsayable. In a corrupt society, perhaps only the madman is sane. C. Performance, identity, and roleplay. All characters perform roles: judge, journalist, police officer. Yet none of these roles guarantee truth or integrity. The maniac, the only character who admits he's performing, is paradoxically the most honest. Foe thus critiques how institutions mask reality through performance. D. Violence and complicity. The play implicates not only the police but the audience, the press, and the public in systemic violence. Maria Filetti, the journalist, represents the media, which is torn between truth-telling and survival. The audience, too, must decide, act or remain silent. Conclusion: Accidental Death of an Anarchist is not merely a comedy. It is a brilliantly subversive work that uses humor to disarm and awaken, laughter to expose brutality, and farce to critique real injustice. It speaks not only to Italy's political crisis but to all societies where truth is manipulated, power is unaccountable, and justice is delayed. Foe's genius lies in making a tragedy digestible through laughter, then forcing the audience to confront the bitter truth beneath the comedy. The maniac may be insane, but he is also a prophet. His performance is a call to vigilance, skepticism, and resistance. 50 years later, Accidental Death of an Anarchist remains tragically relevant, a mirror to our times, and a reminder that sometimes, only satire can tell the truth.